We'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Avanto, services and software that streamline how you operate, and the Collaborative Network, a platform where leaders in the contract interiors industry unite.
Is your team overloaded? Avanto helps teams save time and money by using AI to handle daily work from order management and AP processing to task handling without adding headcount. It works inside the tools you already use, with no new dashboards to manage. Go to goavanto.com to see how we can run your daily operations.
What do office furniture, AI, and continuing education have to do with each other? Well, we're going to dive into all of that in today's episode. I'd like to welcome you back, or welcome to the Trend Report, your inside look at the people, the products, and the ideas shaping the future of workplace design. I'm your host, Sid Meadows, and I'm glad that you've joined me for our first episode of Season 7, and we're kicking things off with our popular CEO chat series with our returning guest, Bryce Stuckenschneider, the CEO of Loftwall. Hey, Bryce, how are you?
I'm great, Sid. I'm excited to be an alumni of the program. Thanks for having me back.
You are an alumni. Like, we have to go way back to 2020 in the first season. Bryce's first CEO chat was episode number 7. That was sometime in May in 2020. And now you are episode 170. So we've kind of come a long way.
You've had a lot of practice between our first time.
Yeah, we have. And I think both of us maybe have a few more gray hairs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I wear hats for a reason. Absolutely.
Well, 2020, there was a lot of craziness going on in the world when we recorded that. Navigating through turbulent times, and that's, all kinds of stuff. And now we're in a different form of turbulent times.
Yeah.
Workplace, who's coming back? What are they doing? Are they coming back?
I don't feel like we get, at this point, 2 years of stasis, It's like every 24 months, something crazy has to happen. Mm-hmm. And your job is to decipher where we are in that cycle right now. And are you ready for whatever the next curveball is?
Are you ready? That should be the key phrase of the year. Are you ready? Because who knows, tomorrow we could open the door and there'll be another curveball.
Yeah.
So Bryce, give us an update about Loftwall. You guys are always busy. There's always something brewing, new products coming. So tell us a little bit about what's up at Loftwall.
Yeah, I think some of that just stems from we're just naturally curious people. We find that we've attracted some similar-minded people to the team over the years. I'm coming up on 7 years at the company next month, and I look back at the shape of our team back then to now, and curiosity is just kind of woven into everybody, which means you're always up to stuff. You're always doing something. It might be product, it might be process, it might be people. And, we got all three of those balls in the air we're juggling right now to start the year that we're excited about. And probably the biggest one is doubling down on the stuff that we do great. We found that dealers love working with us because we love going fast. We like saying yes to crazy ideas. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you're going to pick up the phone and talk to a person. Those are 3 things that we're going to build the business around. And sometimes that can be in short supply. If it's not in the catalog and custom takes 12 weeks and, just talk to this chatbot real quick and maybe you can get to a customer service rep. Like those are just things that are never going to be us. But we're going to parlay that into some really fun new products this year that I'm pumped about. Products we've been working on for a long time, that, I don't know, probably shortly after this podcast airs, we'll be launching some of them. So we're excited.
That's great. So we need to be on the lookout for product launch announcements from Loftwall. So now, Bryce, when we met the last time, or when we recorded, we actually did it in person. I had all kinds of technical issues. I'm just remembering this now. Remember, the mic came unplugged, quit working. We're trying to do both of us on one mic. Yeah, I was a novice podcaster.
I thought that was like a move that you had just to get me to sit like 6 inches away from your face. I was like, man, this is a unique podcasting style, but you were my first.
Well, with no video then, but now that I'm remembering it, we were in person at your old location, and now you guys have moved into a bigger location, I'm not going to say more central, but definitely a little bit easier to get to than having to drive all the way downtown, in my opinion. I've been to your new place, but how is the new place?
It's good. It's funny. We signed the lease on it probably a month after you and I met at the old place. And that lease comes up like pretty soon. Now we're trying to decide I think we need more space. What are we going to do? Which is a great problem.
Say that is a really great problem to have. I need more space. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been good. And I know not all your listeners are in the DFW Metroplex, but Loftwall right now is in what we call mid-cities. So that's halfway between Dallas and Fort Worth, really close to the airport, which means you can kind of live anywhere in DFW and work from Loftwall, which is important to us. Before we were downtown Dallas, right? Yeah. That's a vibe.
It's a hike for people like me.
Yeah, it's a hike. And I tell people now, like, hey, you come visit us. We're not in the sexiest part of town, but it's an easy place to get to. And it lets us just recruit from all over, which has been great. We love it. I always tell people, like, you can almost see the Cowboy Stadium from our office, which that's like America's touchstone of where do you live. So, yeah.
Not that there's any real football to watch there, but I mean, we won't go down that rabbit hole.
No, it's a soap opera with adult men in pads. So.
Oh, that's great. So give us a glimpse of, like, can you tease us, like, what's going to be a product that you're going to launch this year?
Yeah. So, when I started the company, we really focused on partitions and room dividers and a category we still do really well in. And we wanted to plant this flag to be more than about that, but about privacy in general, like privacy in the office. We don't sell walls, partitions, or screens. We sell privacy. And we felt like that was a unique corner that we could stand on, and built this whole plan around it. We're loving the direction we were headed. And then, COVID was the curveball of all curveballs, where we were trying to sell soft materials to allow focus. People were saying, we don't need to be in the office. And if we do, we need hard goods because we want to spray it down with every bleach known to mankind. And so that was like a 2.5 year diversion from our real plan, our real goals. And it was financially lucrative for the company, right? We pivoted quickly. We grew very quickly. We parlayed that into, investing in our people and in the company that we're proud of. But, we picked our heads up probably 2023. And we're like, oh, now we actually get to tell the story we wanted to tell all along. And that's kind of what we've been doing for the last couple of years, and moving more into acoustic treatments, wall coverings, acoustic baffles, sound masking, things like that. I think the next frontier for us is what we're just hearing from customers. We need more flexibility. And so I think you're going to see a lot of freestanding architecture from us, things on a grander scale than you've ever seen from a company like ours. Something you can't get from a mid-market manufacturer right now. You either have to go to the big guys or you have to go to Europe. And, that comes with its challenges. And we think that there's a sweet spot for what we're going to come out with. And we think it's novel. Like, it's something we put a lot of time on that we think has some IP around it. We're pretty pumped, and we've given a glimpse to a few of our reps and the excitement that we can't launch it fast enough for them, which is always a good problem too.
Yeah, they always want it. You want it yesterday. So you have always been somebody that I view as being super creative, lots of ideas. And, almost 2 years ago now, I bumped into you at Orgatec. And I know that you've been there a few times. What kind of inspiration is a European show for you and your product roadmap? Because product development is something that we always want to talk about, and people want to know what's coming and understand why it takes 12 months or longer to bring a product to market and these kinds of things. But I really want to, where's your vision come for what's the future of product development at Loftwall?
Yeah. So part of that is informed from, my time at Claris. I got to see front row seat to what people thought was a pretty basic product, like a rectangular piece of glass that just has paint on the back, and see what does vertically integrating do? Like the freedom it gives you in design when you can do all of the processes to it.
Right.
And Claris had a little bit more money behind it, and so we could take huge swings, but we've had to take calculated swings at Loftwall, and Orgatec's a great place for us to go test some of our ideas. Designers I trust have often said European design is 2, 3, 5 years ahead of what you'll see on the coasts in the United States, let alone, in the heartland. And so for us, we've convinced our team it's a little bit like looking in a crystal ball. And now it's a cloudy crystal ball. Like, you got to go and you got to really discern. And each time we've gone back to a show like Orgatec, and we want to go to more shows, whether it's Orgatec's other shows, they've got a show in Tokyo now that we're interested in. I've been to Clerkenwell Design Week in London and had a, incredible experience with that. It just opens your mind. Like, this is what's out there. But then the challenge for us recently has been, we can't keep that knowledge or that peek into the crystal ball to a select few people on our team. Like we had to keep bringing more and more people. So this last time that we went, I think we brought 8 or 9 people from our team and really let them loose. And it was a great, cultural team bonding thing, but people came back and now they will fight for their ideas and they will cite things they saw, a year and a half ago at the show. And so, highly recommend it for any manufacturer. And then it's fun running into other US based manufacturers over there, right? Because we're neighbors in a pretty small industry, and most of us are in this industry for a long time. And so you build deep relationships and you do the right thing. You take care of people, and that stuff's fun, whether it's on our soil or overseas.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. And for the first time this year, which is in May, I'm going to Clerkenwell. Nice. And then I will also be going back to Orgatec. It's just so great to be informed about what they're doing to help understand where we might be going or what's coming and see new ideas. But I mean, it's so different from Chicago Design Week, I think is what we're officially calling it these days, which includes Design Days and NeoCon, because the two are working together, and we will have more coming on that in a couple of months and that initiative that they're doing jointly. But it's interesting just to see what they're doing over there and compare it to where we are here. So I'm excited about going to both. And I've never been to Clerkenwell, so.
Yeah, there's a few things that are really different when you go to a show abroad. It's the way that they procure furniture is completely different than the way we procure it. The way they think about materials is often very different than the way and even at a show like Orgatec, it's giant. If you haven't been, it's hard to explain. I tell people it's probably 5 times the size of NeoCon, but it's across 6 buildings that span 55 football fields or something nuts.
It's crazy.
But you'll go and you'll meet a brand there and they will impress you like crazy. And then you'll get to asking questions and they're very open, which I love. And like, yeah, we really only sell in our home country over here. And I'm like, oh, what are the challenges of selling, across EU borders for a country, say that's in Belgium or an Italian company. And they're like, oh yeah, 90% of our sales are domestic to our country. And we don't really relate to that in the United States. Is a thing that we have, a benefit to being here is intrastate commerce is just so much more common than.
So the correlation there is like Loftwall only selling into Texas.
Yeah.
Versus a Belgium company only selling into Belgium. And that's very, very narrow when you think about that. Europe is so big. Like, why aren't they crossing the borders?
I think it's a lot of the laws and the rules and the labor unions, and you layer in things like installation. And so some companies do it well, but most really struggle with it. So, it expands your worldview. That's my challenge to people is expand your worldview. You'll see stuff that you never thought. And if you see people you recognize from the States over there, share a beer, go get some dessert, some gelato,
or at
have
least
a good
try
time.
to. At least try to. We tried to. We couldn't make it happen, but we tried.
So,
it's the effort that counts.
Yeah.
So, Bryce, you came to Loftwall in 2020. Here we are in 2026, beginning of 2026. In 2025, late 2024, 2025 have been not direct correlation to 2020, but man, there have been lots of turbulence happening in our industry. Tariffs and the impact of tariffs and this and that, the impact to the workplace and what's happening in the workplace. So what is one thing that you've learned in leading a company now through what could be called 2 different series of turbulent times? What have you learned from that process?
Yeah, maybe 2.5. Yeah. I count the mega mergers in our industry as their own curveballs, right?
Yeah, they
are. We're not out of those curveballs. Sometimes these turbulent times can overlap. What have I learned? I want to be reminded. I feel the responsibility to remind my people, but to remind myself, we got to just be great at what we're great at. It's really easy to chase stuff that's outside your lane or chase stuff that isn't in your sweet spot. And if you have clarity of vision and with conviction what you do great, then putting 100% of your time into that is going to give you more dividends than spreading your bets. And I think it's a head versus a heart thing for me, but that's a huge lesson is, incredible conviction of that. And then this is a phrase that has become maybe even a little cliche at Loftwall. People roll their eyes a little bit because I say it so much, but we've started asking ourselves this question. It's about all parts of life. You could do it for work. You could do it in personal life, whatever. What are you willing to tolerate?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a good one too. When it's a new year and everyone's kind of in that like, all right, new habits, new mindset. But if we are consistent in asking ourselves, what am I willing to tolerate? And that might be about a lead time, a quality of a response, a relationship, a partnership we may have in the industry, just treating people like humans. Are we really willing to tolerate that? And I think throughout the turbulent times, it's harder to stand your ground on that, right?
Yep.
Because you're like, well, I don't have the luxury. I'm going to have to tolerate whatever I can just to stay in business. And the cultural impact that can have and like the wearing down on the team, I'm just learned it's not worth it. Just be great at what you're great at, stand in your convictions, and tell people, be candid with them. Just tell them straight up. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is the way we see the world. And if you see the world a similar way, we'd love to work with you. But if you don't, that's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to be partners with everybody.
That's right. I love that. And I think that you can see when a company or leaders for that matter succumb to what I would call shiny object syndrome, that they go introduce a product because everybody's doing it, or they go introduce a product because they hear it's the hottest thing. And in either scenario, the product that they're introducing has no direct correlation to their brand.
Yeah. And I've been guilty of that. I wish I could. 2026 version of me could record this and send it back to 2021 version of me. But I think part of that, back to the conviction of like, what are you great at, is chasing the shiny object. Is that going to build the legacy that you want? That's another huge thing for us. We rewrote our core values recently and centered a lot of them around the legacy we want to leave.
Yep.
And that's a legacy can be financial, it can be cultural, it can be interpersonal, it can be my own growth, right? The legacy, I want to be better every week when I leave on Friday than when I showed up on Monday. And
that's great.
I want that to be contagious, right? And so I think the legacy piece of that has become more clear for us as well. And it's another like, hey, crystal ball, go back, tell 2021 Bryce, what things should I tattoo on my body in 2021 that I don't forget for the next 5 years? And
legacy is one of those words.
Oh, legacy is one of them. I gotta like remind myself every morning when I wake up.
Yeah,
so.
I bet. So, be great at what you do and what you're great at, which I love that. What are you willing to tolerate? Both great things, leaning into legacy and how you're going to build out a legacy. And there's all these other things shaping in our world. And I know when I met with you, about 6 months ago, I came down to your new office and we sat and chatted for a little bit. And you talked about AI. And this thing has been out there. It's been out there for years. Let's be clear. If you've ever used Amazon Alexa, you've been using AI. If you've ever talked to Google, hey, Google, do this, you're using AI. It only became, let's call it customer facing in the last 2 years. And literally every day it changes. There's a new headline. Google does this, ChatGPT does this, so-and-so does this. I mean, it's hard to keep up with. So tell us a little bit about how are you and Loftwall using AI? And if so, tell us how you're using it.
Yeah. Some of that goes back to the curiosity, right? I think one of our core values is incurably curious. Like you cannot wring the curiosity out of me. And AI is part of that. And I probably was like most people, you stumble across it because of what you hear in the news or a friend says, when you're hanging out. And and you're right. Like it's not only has it been around for more than November of 2022 is when ChatGPT launched to the public. It goes back to the 1940s. Like I ended up.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Go watch it. So a movie recommendation for people who haven't seen it, The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. He was nominated for a Best Picture. And it's the story of the first, at the time, computers were just glorified calculators, numbers in, numbers out. And this was the first machine, the first thinking machine. And it was used to break Nazi codes during World War II. It's a crazy movie. largely based on a true story. Yes, a few creative liberties, but that's like kind of the advent of artificial intelligence was the science of machines getting smarter. I mean, smarter for a really long time. I'm a Jeopardy nerd. So, when IBM's Watson beat Ken Jennings' best 2 out of 3 in 2011, that was like a watershed moment for me. I was like, oh no, Ken Jennings is my hero. And so experiencing it in like a consumer product way, like ChatGPT, at first was really scary to me because I was like, holy cow, this is unbelievably impressive. But like a lot of things in life, new things can scare you really fast, and you could decide, am I going to be on the side of the road and let this thing pass me by, or am I going to do something about it? And so for me personally, it was just getting obsessed with it. How can I learn as much as possible? And so it replaced most things I did for fun for about a year. I kind of stopped watching sports. I stopped reading books. Like I was just like, how can I teach myself? And then that evolved into training my team and saying, hey, we're a nimble enough company that we should be able to lead in this. And so I'm proud of what the team's been doing with that. We can talk about specifics. And then it's kind of evolved even beyond that because I'm in a CEO peer group with 15 other CEOs in Dallas. And, this group has become my friends and people across industries, and to see what some of them are doing with AI and just rethinking the way they do business. I was thinking about that earlier with what you're talking about, the turmoil or the tribulations of what's happened in our industry, from COVID to the crazy mergers to tariffs and return to work and all of that. It has felt for at least the last 6 years like we are playing by somebody else's rules and somebody else's scoreboard. And that's not a fun game to play, right? You roll out of bed and the rules are already determined, the scoreboard's already determined, and guess what? When you woke up, you're down in the game, right? It's hard. And AI kind of felt like a force multiplier for me to reset the rules. And that's how we've been thinking about it at Loftwall, and just how I think about it in general. I probably get a little too amped up about it. A lot of people who ask me what I'm doing, about 10, 15 minutes in, they're like, no, I get it. Thanks, man. That's great. But I'm passionate about it. I think that right now, 93% of companies say that they will be investing significantly more in the next 3 years in AI, and 1% of companies that responded say they're satisfied with the output they're getting. So that's a giant gap, right? 93% of people are like, we're throwing money at this, and 1% feel like they have a mature environment of usage that they're satisfied with. So that just means we're all figuring it out. And that's one of my favorite quotes from Sam Altman at OpenAI. He's like, we are all figuring this out as we go along. And that's not only okay, it's the only way forward. And I'm like, this is the guy steering this freaking company in this space. But that gives you this license to like stumble and wander and try and ask.
We'd like to thank our supporting silver sponsors, KISP, who helps furniture brands visualize and sell products before specification, and Web Configurator Services, the leader in AI-powered online product configuration and quoting. Hey, let's pause here for a second so I can share something exciting with you. This podcast has always been about more than the episodes for me. It's been about you, the people listening, and the conversations that we're creating together. That's why I started the Trend Report Insider Community. This is a small private space for people who care about our industry, who want to stay connected beyond the podcast. No noise, no pressure, just thoughtful conversations and shared perspectives with industry friends, both old and new. You can learn all about this membership at sidmeadows.com/community, and be sure to use the coupon code FIRSTIN at checkout in order to get 50% off your monthly membership. And this is a thank you for already being part of our community. This discount is valid through February 28th. So for less than a cup of coffee a month, you can come in and join the fun. Visit sidmeadows.com/community. So can you share with us one way that you're using it in your business?
Oh, one way? Sure. We could go lots of ways. Right.
If he rambles for 15 minutes, I'm going to interrupt him. So
I'll give you a good example. So we're launching this new product I mentioned in the next month or so. And I think this product will appeal to many, many vertical markets. I think it will appeal to higher education, certainly will appeal to corporate. I think it'll appeal to tech. I think there will be an industrial use case for it, and startups, kind of all across, because it's modular, freestanding architecture, and you can imagine what you will from that. And our ability to train AI tools on our brand voice, on our brand values, on how we win, why we win, our perception of the competitive landscape out there, and then to have a back and forth dialogue about why this product will matter to 8 different types of customers. You've heard about buyer personas and things like that forever, but AI's ability to supercharge that for us to have, I feel like we got 3 or 4 years worth of launch intelligence in 3 or 4 days. Because how many people like the new product starts hitting its stride in year 3, year 4, year 5 because of all the learnings you had to get along the way. And so that's one example of AI shortening the learning curve for us. And I still think we're using a fraction of what we could for it, but it's woven into everybody's weekly one-on-one with their supervisor. It's written into our quarterly and annual reviews. We give a ton of training resources to our team. If you need or have the curiosity for something in the AI space and want to apply it at Loftwall, like you're going to get a green light. And so that's fun for us too.
So it is a huge topic. People are asking about it. When I did some interviews getting ready for season 7, I interviewed like 25 different listeners. And one of the questions I asked in the interviews was, what's something you want to hear more about? Every one of them said AI. Like every one of them said AI. And I always try to share practical use cases, like how am I using it? What have I seen other people do because I am not an AI expert, nor will I ever be. I'm an enthusiast. I'm not learning about it the way I'm not sinking an entire year into learning about it, but I am absorbing information about it and trying to learn as much as I can to share practical ideas. So this season, in the first half of this season, we'll have 2 AI experts come on. And one's going to talk about some really cool stuff that she did. She's a professor at the University of Southern California, and how she's using it to teach, and she cloned herself, and how you can talk to it, and you can actually call her AI. I mean, it's just like really cool what she's doing. And the other one is going to take a completely different approach, and he's going to say, stop what you're doing and make sure you've got an AI policy, an AI strategy, a governance policy, make sure you know where your people are going. So he's going to give you the business case of it. Like, this is what you need to do before you open the floodgates. Because I believe most businesses are just like what you talked about, barely scraping the surface with what is really possible with a tool like, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it is you want to use, right? I think we're just barely scraping the surface of it.
I totally agree. And I would say I live somewhere in the middle. I think that it depends on the risk tolerance of the company, the role that you're in, right? Expectations that you've got. And so there are some places where the governance policy piece of it is incredibly important. And there are other places where I don't think it hurts to just go learn and try. Obviously protect sensitive data and stuff like that. But I love the analogy of the way that I think it's 91% of people are just using AI as glorified Google, right? Like it's just like enhanced search and help me write my email. And I say all the time, like that's like just using your iPhone to make phone calls and be like, this thing's incredible. It makes phone calls across the country. And I'm like, do you know what else that device can do? And I feel that way about AI. All that said, I'm probably using about 30 or 40% of the metaphorical phone here. And I think that the only limitations to any of this are time and curiosity. If you've got time and you're curious, you can figure any of this stuff out.
Agreed.
Now that it's hard to engineer curiosity if you don't inherently have it. And for some people, it can be really hard to make the time. You just sacrifice, you got to figure it out. And
only so many hours in the day, right? I think the third one, time and curiosity, is what you said. I would add one to it, which is courage. The courage to try something new. And the courage, if it works, to own it. And hey, we did this is the impact. But also the courage, if it didn't work, to say, okay, we tried that, it didn't work. Let's try another way. Let's do something different. Because implementing something new in your business, especially something using technology that is like AI, can be really scary. So you got to have the courage to try it. Now, one last question on this topic. Are you using it for customer facing stuff?
We are not. There is no part of our business where a customer interacts with AI.
Okay. Do you think that's coming?
I think it's coming for a lot of people. Sure. Oh, yeah. We're not sure if or when it's coming for us.
Right.
We are using it to accelerate our response time on outputs customers expect.
Sure.
But that is always delivered and verified by a human.
Yeah, because you said at the beginning, one of your core competencies, one of your, if you will, one of the things that is what helps you win is people. And you lean into people and talk to, and I never want to not be able to talk to a person.
Totally. And part of that too, and you can read all sorts of blogs and books about this, is the difference between an AI first company and an AI forward company. An AI first company is like Microsoft. Yeah. Microsoft reached astronomical valuations last year, record profits, and laid off more than 20,000 people. Like, make that make sense. It's an AI first company, not a people first company. An AI forward company says, hey, we're people first, but we're going to lead with this to make and enhance our people. So maybe I'm not using it in eliminating jobs, certainly not doing that.
Sure.
But can I imagine a future as we continue to grow where I don't have to hire as rapidly because my people who could do X before can do X plus Y plus Z because they are empowered, and they look back, that's my goal. Like, do you look back in a year and say, I'm so much more capable than I was this time a year ago? And AI is part of that, but I think it's that infectious curiosity and that the pride of like, ooh, I can do things I could never do before.
It's amazing, the tools. I mean, it's amazing. And we're going to quit talking about it because I said that only went like 5 minutes or so. But anyway, we'll quit talking about it. But Bryce, you're somebody that I see, and we talked about this earlier. You've always been a visionary. You've always had ideas. You're always trying new things. You've got this entrepreneur heart to like, let's go and buck the system. And with that, you shared with me when I ran into you at Healthcare Design that you got a little new venture going on over here. Yeah. So tell us about Design Stage and what it is and what does it mean for you?
Yeah. I'm very passionate that I understand why people get into this industry and they stay for a long time. But I also have just inherent dissatisfaction with the status quo. And so Design Stage is kind of a fun...
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
I know. But this is a fun offshoot of that. And so for a long time, Loftwall was a dealer-first brand that has tried to launch products that appeal to the design and architecture community. And one way that you can appeal to the design and architecture community is through continuing education, CEU credits. And it's no surprise to anybody. I think basically everybody at this point has been in one or multiple courses where the only thing people care about is when is the Panera order coming. Mm-hmm. And that process is pretty fundamentally broken, right? You got to go through the gatekeeper, the dealership, or the design firm, and you got to get on the schedule 7 months in advance. And you got to hope that the right people in that dealership or design firm are there that day, and they don't get asked to work through lunch. And then they come to your meeting and they remember to sign the piece of paper, right? And then they check out the entire time. And you spent, for these brands who are hosting these courses, they spend thousands of dollars flying their best presenter there and trying to make a week out of it and all these things. And you're like, what did I really get out of that? And part of that's even at Loftwall. Like, we have a couple of CEUs, but one I'm really proud of. And we picked our head up a couple of years ago and we're like, why do we only teach it this many times? Like, it's great. Every rep that we travel to their markets are like, yeah, come teach it more. And my team said back to me, like, well, Bryce, you're one of the 2 people that we feel good about teaching it. And so do you want to get on an airplane more often? And I'm like, ooh, there's got to be a better way for that. And COVID accelerated distance learning and the acceptability of that. Absolutely. And so for, over a year now, I've been working with a new team on what's just kind of side passion project that's, now become its own company, Design Stage. Really excited about it. It's, if I gave the elevator pitch for it, it's what if Netflix and Masterclass had a love child and it only lived in the architecture and design industry, right? Like this on-demand but high-quality content that I could take a course in my pajamas. I don't have to search down for my certifications or certificates in the end of the day. It's really easy. It works on my phone. I can do it in the palm of my hand. And for these brands who are trusting people to go out and teach the course, and you don't totally know the quality and did they really cover all the material? And I've been in a lot where the presenter gets up there and they say, hey, this is 58 slides and it normally takes all of 58 minutes, but we're going to be out of here in a tight 32. And I'm like, I don't think that's what the brand had in mind, right? When they sponsored this course. And so
paid for the Panera, mind you.
Paid for it. Oh yeah. All that stuff. And so, the mission statement behind it is that brands have a story to tell and designers have a need to learn and grow? And can we live somewhere in the middle with a tech product that does that for them? And so that's Design Stage. And we've got kind of our first cohort of courses launching this quarter.
That's great.
Really
Congrats.
excited about it. Yeah. Designstage.com. Pretty excited about that.
An app on my phone I download, or is it just a website?
It's just a website for now. I get to see it being an app pretty soon. And we're having a lot of fun because the requirement for us is we have to be a part of the content capture. You don't send us, here's a video of us teaching it, or here's a recording of somebody standing in front of a PowerPoint.
Yep.
We design it from the ground up with you. We direct it like it's like documentary style, and it has to be in a beautiful place with an engaging presenter, with multimedia. Like it's not meant to feel like anything else you've done on purpose, because we think once designers take courses like this, they won't want to do it another way. Like they'll say, this is much better experience.
So can anybody sign up and watch the courses?
Yeah. Anybody can. It's free for everybody. Obviously, if you're not a designer, you're not going to get, if you don't have a accreditation you're going against. But anybody can take it at any time. It's, we think great content and learning is good for everybody. And
to that, I'm a huge advocate of that. And I've said for years that I think salespeople should attend CEUs and listen to them, like participate in them, not just give them and buy the lunch, right? They need to go to them to learn, because the most successful sellers in our industry are people who are students of our industry, and you can answer questions
and connect it to stories that matter.
Correct.
And so my business partner, Andrew, and I, we've written CEUs for almost 10 years in the industry, courses we're really proud of, not just for Loftwall, but for lots of brands. And we kind of picked our head up. We're like, man, we're only making a dent in this, because you can write a great course, then you got to train that brand's team to teach it. You got to trust those people are going to stay at the company, which in the last 5 years hasn't been the case.
Yep.
And then you look up and you say, it's not necessarily a content problem. It might be a distribution problem. And so that was kind of the North Star that we decided we were going to chase after. And Andrew's more on the technical side and the creative production side. I'm more on the, why doesn't this exist? Is this a need in our industry? And certainly trying to pull in so many brands that I've become friends with over the years. And so far we're pumped. Like we got,
congratulations.
A dozen courses that we're going to launch this quarter. And I think we kind of want to have almost like quarterly chapters where we're releasing fresh content all the time. And
designstage.com. We will drop a link down in the show notes for you to go check it out. Coming out in the first quarter of 2026. I assume there's like a coming soon page there.
There's a coming soon. You can sign up for let me know when it's live. Yeah. I'm sure I think he grabbed the Instagram on Design Stage.
That's good.
Yeah. So we're excited about what it could be, because everybody that we've talked to says, hey, this needs to exist, whether it's us or not. Like, we just want to push the industry forward. Maybe somebody will pick up the idea and do it better than us.
Yep.
We think we know the industry decently well. We certainly have the experience writing courses and being on the brand side of it, but also the frustration of talking to a ton of designers. Just make this easier for me. We're in the world of everything has to be easy. Everything has to be in your pocket. And this is like an antiquated process. And so it just felt like a fun hill to go climb and challenge to tackle together.
Well, I saw a preview of it at Healthcare Design on your iPad. It looked fantastic, and I'm anxious to dive into it. So congrats to you and Andrew for bringing it forward, and I look forward to seeing more of it. Now, Bryce, we're going to jump up as we start to wrap up today. It's been a fun conversation, always. And a few rapid fire questions for you. So you don't know what these questions are. Rapid fire, one word, whatever, answer, short, quick, and sweet. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So if we were to get in your car and go drive somewhere, what are you listening to? What are we going to hear on the radio? What are we going to hear? You're smiling and laughing, so it must be something totally unexpected.
Oh, so 70% of the time it's going to be tech and AI podcasts, because I consume news that way. But the other 30% of the time it's going to be a combination of Forrest Frank and other artists that my kids listen to. My kids have taken over my Spotify. Forrest Frank, he's like the hottest Christian artist in the world.
Okay.
And all the preteen songs you can imagine, they've taken over my Spotify. It does not belong to me anymore. Spotify Wrapped, tells you your age at the end of the year, and it's like you're a teenager. And I'm like, no, my kids are teenagers. I promise, I don't choose that. So you're gonna hear a fun balance of those two things.
So AI podcasts, what are you listening to? Like if you're going to tell people to go listen to a podcast about AI, which one would you give them?
Yeah. I would say my two favorite are a Big Technology Podcast with Alex Kantrowitz. He's a journalist who just covers tech in general. I've met him personally, great guy. Really, really believe in, he brings on, blue chip CEOs. He brings in actual operators who are working in this space, talks about where the tech's going. He also is a guinea pig too, so the last couple of months he's like, hey, I tried out 4 different AI wearables, here's my experience. I'm like, oh, that's pretty helpful. Cool. I wasn't going to go spring for all those, but I really appreciate you doing it. So that's a good one. Second one, this was the first one that I stumbled across that has been probably the most influential. It's called the Artificial Intelligence Show, and it's 2 hosts, Paul Racer and Mike Kaput. Met them as well. I actually went to their conference in October, and they make it very approachable. So their format is once a week. Here's the 3 biggest topics in the world of AI right now. And then they'll do rapid fire news as well. And they always try and connect it to like, why does that matter for me? Why should that matter to a listener? And so both of them, great podcasts, Big Technology and the Artificial Intelligence Show. And some of them you can go back and listen to like some of the greatest hits too. Some of it isn't always evergreen, but the ones that are evergreen are incredible.
So we will drop the links to both of those shows in the show notes, so you can go check those out. All right, next rapid fire. If you could have, I love this question because I think about my answer to this question a lot, and it changes every now and then. If you could have dinner with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dinner with anybody dead or alive. I'm a big sports guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'd pick like a legendary coach, probably.
Nick Saban?
I think
throw my Roll Tide in there. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Rough week for the Roll Tide.
Oh my God.
I would say somebody like, before he sadly had a stroke last year, but Greg Popovich, the legendary Spurs coach, would have been really fun for me. I think some of the coaches, Coach K comes to mind.
Great.
Great leaders of men would be really exciting for
Great
me.
leaders of men. I love that.
Yeah.
And it should be noted in the defense of my Tide, not that they played like crap, so they deserve to lose. And I'm on Team Indiana right now, so go.
Yeah,
by the time this airs, when is the national championship? I don't even know when it is. It's like 3 weeks. By the time this airs, the national championship will have been done. So hopefully it's Indiana.
Oh, so what's your score prediction? We'll see. Let's see if future Sid is correct. I'm rooting for him too. How do you not love a Cinderella?
No, my gosh. But somebody said to me the other day, well, if they end up playing Ole Miss is actually the bigger Cinderella.
Yeah,
they
that's
lost their coach in the middle of so
that's fair. I think there's a world where that's really fun for them to win.
Yeah.
I never like the guy bailing on his team when they're chasing their dreams. So yeah,
he's got a history of that. But anyways, but the interesting part about this is all 4 of those coaches that are in the Final 4 of the college football playoffs coached under Nick Saban. They were all one of his assistants.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There's an impact for you right there. All right, we got to keep going. All right, now if we're going to go to dinner together, what's the one thing that you're not going to order? Like, what are you not?
I'm not ordering salad. I got to change that. It's a new year. No.
Is that because I'm going to buy? Is that why you're not going to order the salad? You're going to order the caviar instead?
No, we live in Texas, right? We only eat raw meat. So what thing am I not going to order? I'm probably not going to order anything raw.
Okay.
I'm not a sushi guy. I'm not a beef tartare guy. Yep. I like things cooked. So
I get that.
I'll stay away from raw with very, very few exceptions.
Okay. I love that. All right. So what's one thing that your children, all 3 of them, have taught you that's helped you become a better leader?
All 3 of my kids are incredibly different. Incredibly different. If they didn't look like me, you would say these kids aren't related. So what have they taught me? My oldest has taught me that a friend can come from the most unexpected places. My middle child, my older son, he's 10, has taught me that you can literally, if you are stubborn enough and you want to work hard enough, you can literally do anything.
I love that.
He is just has such strong conviction in working hard, which is really cool. And I could learn from that. And then my 6-year-old, what has he taught me? He taught me that at the end of the day, like, those kids and their mom are all that matters. Like, when all the stuff's happening, all the turmoil, all the, whether it's on the news or in our industry or whatever, on the freeway on the way home, like, you get home and you see this guy and the way he lives his life, and I'm like, why does anything else matter?
Yeah.
And
awesome.
Yeah, so that's
last question. Tied into this. What do you love most about being a dad?
I love most about being a dad. Probably 2 things come to mind. One of them is the appreciation for my parents and seeing that perspective and realizing, like, I was this annoying child at one time who had to be told to do the same thing over and over again. And, my parents are retired and in good health, and I'm grateful for that. And it's just changes the way that I interact with them. I go from solving a child crisis and then picking up the phone and talking to them and being like, oh, you've been through all this. My mom had 4 boys before she was 25 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she's 5'1", 82 pounds when she's wearing a winter coat, right? She's a warrior. And you just get this appreciation for them. So that's one. I think the other one is that it's kind of cliche, like they have more to teach me than I have to teach them, but they are not going to remember 98% of the things that I say, but I'm going to beg myself to remember 98% of the things they say. And so that's a challenge.
But
especially we're on the last day of Christmas break right now. And so, like, these guys have been home for 2.5 weeks and we're like, go back to school. But I still mean it. Like, I'm better when I'm around them, for sure.
So I think, as the father of 2, one of the things that, you're right, they're not going to remember the things that you say, but hopefully they remember the experiences. You do a lot with them. We're friends on social media. I see all the activities you're doing with your kids, coaching soccer, and I'll go into basketball games and and hopefully those memories and those experiences they may not remember exactly what you said, but they remember the experience they had with you and your wife when you go to these events. So
yeah, my wife's great about, this is a quote she uses all the time. Like, even for them to their friends, they won't remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that can be true for my kid on the school bus, on the soccer pitch, at a sleepover with friends, or with how we treat our kids. So I give her credit for that one.
And when they're older and they're away and they call you just to talk to you as they're walking from the subway or the tube, as she calls it in London, to her apartment, just to talk to you, that's a really good feeling right there. So
yeah,
enjoy those.
I can only imagine.
Enjoy those moments. And I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm not just saying this to you, I'm saying this to everybody out there. As someone who can't call his parents anymore, I lost my mom in December and my dad when I was, 33 years ago. So I can't talk to my parents anymore. Don't stop calling them.
Yeah.
Don't stop calling them. Call them every day, call them every week. It just, like, I look at my phone and my mom's number is still in my, my speed dial. I don't know that I'll ever take it off, but there are times like I just want to talk to her. So make that time to hit that phone or pick up your phone and call your parents and talk to them, even if it's for 5 minutes. Don't miss out on that opportunity. That's my message. Keep doing it, Bryce. It's my message. I tell everybody out there, call your parents.
That's a good resolution for sure.
Right there. So, dude, I cannot thank you enough for joining me today. We went way over time. Not unexpected, because I think both of us like to talk a little bit. But Bryce, if our community would like to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Oh gosh. Yeah. Email Bryce@loftwall.com. That's pretty easy. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't love LinkedIn. I want to be honest. I probably should like it more than I do. I don't. So email's great. Yeah. If you know Sid, he'll send you my cell phone number. We could geek out about AI stuff. Or if you were like, I've already listened to those 2 podcasts, give me 2 more. I need a book. I love that kind of stuff. Like, piques your curiosity and you're like, hey, I need someone in the industry I can just like run ideas by. I would love to be that for people. It's really, really fun for me.
That's great. Well, Bryce, I can't thank you enough for being here today. And I just want to thank you, the listener, I hope that you enjoyed today's conversation. If you did, please share it with someone who you think might get some value out of listening to me and Bryce talk on about all kinds of things. And again, I want to thank you for joining us on the Trend Report, your inside look at the people, the products, and the ideas shaping the future of workplace design. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Go out there and make today great, everyone. We'll see you right back here again next week. Take care. We'd like to thank our community bronze sponsors, Catalyst Consulting Group, Reseat, and Staffing Plus.